simple graphs which project what's going to happen to the planet over the next 150 years if we don't do something drastic to stop it.
Are we the masters of our future, or are we destined to follow a path determined by faith? What if the old saying that time waits for no man is true and our future is already decided? The laws of physics suggest that time is not linear. The past and future are not separated. This would mean that we don't get to choose our future. Everything is bound to happen whether we want it or not. In today's video, we will discover the big mystery. What if our future has already happened? So what is the future, and how does it relate to the concept of time? Scientists have attempted to investigate the properties of time, and it has been quite a challenge. Somewhere along this spectrum of time lies our past, present, and future. But the question is, what if they all are together? Einstein's theory of relativity seems to provide some explanation for this. According to him, space and time are separate, and every point in space is correlated with an infinite number of events spread across the entire existence, both past and future. So some points are currently being felt, making it the present, and then there is an endless flowing series of events that already exist somewhere in the future. Of course, the theory is much more complicated, but the basic idea is simple. Our future does already exist in the space-time web, but then how are we able to navigate through the already existing future? Why is it that from our point of view, it is something unknown? The answer to these questions will come in a bit, but before that, make sure to click on the subscribe button for more updates and give this video a thumbs up. One theory to explain the way our worlds is called the block universe. According to it, the past, present, and future arrange themselves in a block. This block is made with layers and layers of time arranging itself according to events that have happened, are happening, and will happen. Think of yourself as a hungry mouse in front of a big block of cheese. Just like the mouse goes through a block of cheese, every human is passing through time. Whether time is fluid or still has bothered scientists for years, it is horrifying sometimes to think that you can't ever change anything about yourself. But is that even entirely true? What happened to your choices and choosing the path that you decide upon yourself? Here's a pressing thought. Do you think that your choices shape your future? Think of that time you chose not to show up at a party to focus on work, or that time you decided to help someone in need. Did that decision have a part to play in the future? If you chose otherwise, would it mean things would be a bit different today? The concept of fate or destiny is very common across religions, that our existence is a predetermined master plan and things have a natural way of unfolding themselves according to a universal system that none of us can do anything about. Now this may sound cryptic and vague, but doesn't it sound familiar at the same time? According to fatalism, regardless of some actions and choices, some things cannot be affected. For example, the sun will always rise and set, and we are all doomed to die. But this extends beyond that and onto some basic human abilities such as free will. According to fatalism, there is no such thing as free will or humans deciding and choosing for themselves. Everything is predetermined. Human agency is incapable of affecting any events decided by fate. Doesn't it feel kind of meaningless that we are just sitting here waiting to fulfill our pre-decided roles? Why does it feel like we have a choice sometimes then? That our decisions about something would be very important for the course of the world? Perhaps because it is some kind of an illusion in our minds. Logical fatalism suggests that although it appears as if we have a choice, regardless of what we choose, the outcome will be the same. We will automatically choose the option that is pre-written for us, so the appearance of free will is false. Now you know that the next time you decide to go bungee jumping or do anything crazy, whether you do it or not won't matter. It's all written already. A theory by Arthur Schopenhauer puts this more accurately, where the universe is determined by a force called will, and the human body is just a projection of that. It encourages us to make these trivial decisions, but in the end, they don't matter. So if you thought being popular in school made you someone very important, well, think again. But we have been having this discussion about the future and if it is already decided or not. Yet, maybe a more important question to think about is there anything such as a future? It seems good to imagine that there is something beyond the present and that we are all preparing for what's to come. And because this is something so normal to us, it might come to a shock to some people that there is no such thing as a future. So how is that possible? Certain theorists reject the idea of something that does not exist within the existing space and time. So if you planned a vacation 2 months from now, for such presentist thinkers, there is no such thing. Your vacation plan suddenly went down the drain. There are also growing block universe theorists who believe that as time passes, the universe grows and more things are added to it. But here's a catch. Those things can exist only in the past or in the present. The future has clearly never happened, so there is nothing to say about that. But don't lose all hope just yet, because thinkers on the opposite end of the spectrum, the eternalists, believe the past, present, and future to be equally real. And this is backed by scientific research, as we have already seen. So, if we assume that the future exists, what if it was possible to look into it from the present? In fact, what if we could look at the entire timeline? Technology has made several advancements, but time travel has still been a big theory. Yet, something more interesting that was proposed was the Project Looking Glass. The Looking Glass technology was supposedly used to look back and forth in time using the consciousness of an operator. This meant that the operator's biases would influence how they interpreted what they saw. The complex working of this technology involved an operator sitting in a chair and interfacing with consciousness directly. Through this, humans were able to navigate through time, and for certain elites and powerful beings, this was particularly beneficial because they could figure out the optimum course of action and make their decisions accordingly. This links it to a conspiracy related to the existence of a deep state and how elites could control certain events. Now, before you think this is all just some fantastical story, there are actual Sumerian accounts of such a technology. The Sumerian cylinder seals were encoded with plans to build the Looking Glass device. You might want to blame failing your calculus exam on the big conspiracy of the elites, but if any part of this was actually true, it meant much bigger consequences for the world. The Looking Glass technology predicted some big cataclysms in the year 2012 that would destroy the universe. But here we are, more than a decade later, with no such events occurring. So no need to panic. You don't have any excuses to get off work anymore. The world isn't ending because the future awaits you. Of course, there are no limits to technology. There might be one day where we can see into the future or time travel, but all of that awaits. For now, when we talk about the future, it does certainly exist. But what if the future already happened? The bigger question is, does it matter? And does human free will make a difference even if everything is predetermined? One thing is for sure, our actions do matter. It's not like they are worth nothing. You can't just sit there being hungry waiting for the universe to automatically find a way to drop some food on your plate. You will have to take certain actions for that to happen. So then maybe not everything is automatically happening. Maybe there's more to this story that will slowly be discovered as we uncover more hidden truths about the future.